Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue. Live your life, love Christ, do your best to
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue. Live your life, love Christ, do your best to
Speak life.
Hello and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Speak Life podcast. We are so excited to have you with us for another wonderful week. I am your host, Minister Phoenix, alongside my beautiful wife and amazing co-host.
Hey y'all, welcome again to the Speak Life podcast. This is your co-host, the one and only Shika. We are so glad you're here with us this evening.
Yeah, it's evening. It's all right though. But
or whenever time you tune in.
I know, because people tune in at different times. So whenever you're listening to this, we happy to have you. So for those of you, if it's your first time, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment to be a part of the conversation. And for our faithful listeners, we appreciate you. We love y'all for tuning in week after week. As you can see, we have some guest co-hosts with us once more to come and drop some gems on this conversation that we started last week. The conversation was getting rich, but we were running out of time. So we was like, we got to do a continuing conversation on our church hurt topic that we were talking about. So we are going to continue with our church hurt topic. This is continuing the conversation episode, and we have our special guest. Y'all can introduce yourself to the people once more. Although they saw you last week, reintroduce yourself. So
I'm Shanique.
Listen in reverse order. So
Shanique from Boston.
From Jamaica.
I'm her husband.
Her husband. Oh, you don't have a name?
Colin Bear.
Yeah, man, awesome.
all right, so last week we really did jump into this, and we've been receiving some pretty good feedback about the episode, but I still had questions. I feel like we could have really went a little longer with it, but so we wouldn't weary the patience of the people, we cut it off. But we gotta jump back into it, you know. And one of the things that I really wanted to talk about was the piece about after you experience the hurtful situation. You know, we see how the people who are on the end of it respond, but my question is, how should the church respond when we have one of these instances? Like, there are instances where, you know, different things will happen. What should the response of the church be in a situation like this? And we've all went through different, you know, instances and different situations. So you can just refer to how you would have wanted the church to respond in your situation, you know, and you don't have to go into too much detail about it, as I said before, but just how should the church respond to what's going on in these instances? Who want to go first?
You know, Mark loved to talk. So Mark, you got this.
What?
I feel like you had so much more to say last week. So
That was my
I'll let you go.
Oh, ladies before gentlemen.
I mean,
I want to hear from your perspective, Shani.
From my perspective,
I want to hear from your perspective.
honestly, I probably would have liked to see them the church be a little, well, the people be like a little less judgmental, you know, and more supportive. I'm not saying that there was never anyone that was like, I had people that were supportive, but, you know, majority of people, I felt like they were very judgmental, you know, they always have a little smart comment to make and stuff like that, you know, and sometimes people don't even realize like what you're saying can be hurtful, even if it's said in a jokeful manner, you know, so that was what I have to say.
Okay, so how should the church respond? I just from be there for persons. Don't just look at situations to say, all right, then the person fall and all of that, because Jesus didn't have to go back for Peter, but are sent to call him, but he did. So let us do what Jesus would have done and say, all right, then this person had done something, but that person is still deserving of some grace, still deserving of some mercy. So that is ultimately what we have to do, live by the example that Jesus set for us, so that others will see Christ through us.
Yeah, I concur. Just be there. That's pretty simple, but that's what I mean. Just be there. I think church, we don't, and especially if we're the one that caused the hurt, we don't know how to just simply say I'm sorry and just to stick to it. That's an issue. So we just have to be there and be there. So that's just it for us. We just love somebody to just check on us or
Check in,
something,
yes.
you know.
And say how you doing, and a lot
yeah.
of times persons will feel that, oh, I'm checking on them, so I'm compromising and all of that. But it's not that.
But depending
like,
on whatever the
yeah,
situation may
depends.
be, yeah.
So yes, that person might have done something wrong, but Jesus
but-
still reach out and touch
Yeah,
persons
but if
who-
we are called to restore, you can't restore somebody from afar. Restoration means you need to be in proximity. That's the issue with church. That's why you just need to be there. That's what I'm telling you. Even with this corona situation, I can't call my doctor and say, "Hey, doc, I'm not feeling well," and he's like looking on Zoom. It does not. You still need to go in. You still need to go in. I remember when before the thing blew up and I went to the doctor, and the doctor was trying. Sorry, the doctor was trying to, to check me out using this long thing, and I'm like, why is this person? We still need proximity. We still need to be close. So somebody, whatever hurt it is, and mess. Let's say mess. Some people are messy. We have to go in and clean them up. I can't clean my child from afar. I'm sorry. Even if it's to put on gloves, do something. Just be there. Get close to me. And so the distance is the issue for us. That's my issue. Being absent, being far, not checking in, not calling. It shows as if you don't care. I mean, the wives can attest to that. And the husband is distant.
I think with that one, it's a big thing for the church to really be like Christ in the sense of love. The Bible says, they'll know that we're his disciples by the way we love people. And even if, someone's in the wrong with things, love doesn't just throw people away. Love walks with you through whatever you're going through. And a lot of times when things happen, it's like, even if it's just a disagreement where, with you and someone from church, or if it's a disagreement with you and one person, it's like, it becomes you and anyone they have influence over. So then rather than finding out what's really going on, it's like they just throw you away. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Like you said, there still needs to be some proximity. There still needs to be, some sort of communication. I think that is, really, really important. And I can't say it was everyone. When we were going through, everything that was happening, I did have people who were calling in and checking up on me. And, people who were like, I don't even, may not even know the situation like the situation, but just know that, we here, you can call, check in, we'll call and check in. And, it's stuff like that where you see the church really being, what the church is supposed to be, a loving body of people that even if you're going through it, they walk with you through those moments. And I think that is the biggest thing that the church as a whole, or how the church as a whole needs to be able to respond, with situations. I remember there was this Christian rap group. He said, if you want to be like Jesus, he's like, you can hate the sin, but you better love the sinner. It's like, you may not necessarily like what they do. You may not necessarily agree with, the lifestyles and things like that. But at the end of the day, we can all agree that people are people. This is a person. This is God's creation. This is someone that, in spite of where they are and what they may be going through and, what situations they may be encountering, God still loves them. How can we not love them? So I think that's a big piece of it is, you know, what would Jesus do? What really would Jesus do? Jesus may correct, but Jesus gonna love him regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to say it better because that's what I was gonna say.
I stole your answer.
The love piece. So I'm just gonna echo what Minister Phoenix said. You just really have to show love, regardless of the situation, regardless of, you know, anything. Love is the key. And another thing that I feel like how to overcome or how to, the hurtful situation is to, like, I feel like in church you find a lot of cliques, and because of that, it's like you're the ones you influence. It doesn't matter if you're the one who hurt them. The fact that they're in your clique, it's gonna seem like you did something to them also. So the love is not spreading. It's like it's the hate. It's the everything else that comes with that individual or those individuals. That's what you're gonna see. So love conquers all. So overall, love is everything, and we won't keep hurting people if we continue to show love, basically.
Now, this next question is a really good one because I've often wondered about this piece myself. And that question is, how important is an apology if you feel as though you were wronged by a church member? Like, how important is that? Can that change the situation? Can that help remedy the situation? Will it even make a difference? Like, how important is that apology piece?
Yes, I believe so. It is like so apologizing is something that can really tear down a lot of walls. So therefore, if it is that someone may feel hurt, and so you simply apologizing and saying, you know, maybe that person who needs the apology might be have been in the wrong as well, but you come in now and saying, all right, then I could have dealt with certain things differently, then that could have done a whole lot. The person might be able to heal faster and so forth. But not apologizing, it shows as if, okay, then I am bigger than apologizing. I am righteous then. I am righteous. Therefore, I can do nothing wrong. So I don't need to apologize. It doesn't matter. That's how it just comes off, especially as the body of Christ, where we should, you know, be setting an example and being meek then. A lot of times we don't show humility, and apologizing is a part of being humble.
Yes, that's true. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I do agree, but I just think the apology has to be genuine, because some people will just apologize.
That piece right there. Tell them again, it has to be what?
It has to be genuine, because some people will just say it just to say it to you. To make themselves seem like the bigger person, or, you know, but they don't really mean it. So for me, it would make a difference as long as it's a real, genuine apology.
So how do you know when it's real? How do you know when it's real? Because there's times where
I think it just has to
be sincere
in the moment.
I don't think it's real.
I don't know. I just think it kind of just has to be in the moment, and you're having that conversation with someone, and you know, sometimes you can tell if someone's being genuine or not. Like, by the way they're apologizing, you know, how they're going about certain things, you know, their behavior after the apology also, you know, because if you come to me and you apologize and you say you're sorry, and then I turn around and somebody's like, well, she said this and she's doing this, and then that lets me know you weren't being genuine. You're just doing it just for show, you know? So I would definitely say the person's action while they're speaking to you and after, pretty much.
During and after.
So, I mean, apology for me is, it's important, but I'm one of those people, like, you apologize and I accept it, but it's like I put up a wall where I try to, I just see you for what you are, basically. Like if you do something to me terrible and you hurt me in a way and it's really hurtful. It doesn't take a lot of things to hurt me. You know, I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it takes a whole lot of things to hurt me. So basically, if it's just something simple, then it's like, okay, whatever. But when it's like, for me, my kind of hurt is when I'm really hurt, I cry, because that's how I express my feelings. If I don't cry, it's like, okay, whatever. I just take it with a grain of salt. Like, it's like, okay, all right. But if it's something that really, really hurt me, then there's going to be some tears. And for me, when it gets to that point, it's like, I'm taking your apology, but I kind of put up a fence because I don't want to make myself feel hurt or get back to that point. So basically, like, based on your action, like what Shanique said, I'm going to look at the way you're acting in front of me or behind of me. Like, I'm going to look how you act when people are around. I'm going to look how you act when it's just you and I. And I'm just going to see. So at this point now, I'm observing you. So before I'm like, okay, all right, we this, I know you, but now I'm observing. And I'm observing, it's gonna take a while. Time is gonna tell how closer, you know, or how well I accept that apology. So it's not just gonna be overnight. It's gonna take me a while to really fully, yeah, I accept it, but I accept it in, you know, with something with, I don't know. I don't even know how to put it. It's not.
I gotta pry a little deeper in this. I do have to pry a little deeper in this.
I don't know.
If you accept an apology with conditions, is that really accept an apology though?
For me, it is.
Yeah,
No, it's not really though.
You might accept the apology, but then you know that after that you're going to be looking at that person at
Yeah,
a certain way to say, all right, then, like, nothing. Basically, for me, it would be like nothing you do again can really hurt me because I know if I expect this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also
I think
like, you can apologize to me and I'm like, all right, I will genuinely accept your apology, but you can go do something that made me look at you like, yeah, no, that apology wasn't real. Just like how you're not being real about your apology, I'm gonna take back my acceptance.
I didn't know you could do that.
Well, I just did, because it's like, if you come to me and you decide like, well, I'm sorry, you know, I made a mistake, this shouldn't have happened, and then you leave and then it's something else and you're back to your old ways, then it's like, I didn't really accept, you wasn't being genuine. So now I'm looking at it like, I can't accept what you've given me because
So
it wasn't real.
Provoke an apology, basically.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm taking it back. I'm just saying I'm accepting it, but there's that's the word I was looking
It's
for.
conditions.
Conditions.
I'm accepting
Conditional
it with
acceptance.
conditions
Is this a
because it's
contract?
like, I need to know what I'm dealing with and who I'm dealing
Well,
with.
I feel like there are always certain people that you're like, well, with their apology, there have to be conditions. It's the truth.
This is getting really
And
interesting.
some people will apologize to you like 500 times and still do the same behavior.
But people are broken. People are messed up. That's how they are.
But you can see that they're not even genuinely trying.
But how do you know? How do you know? And that's here's the thing.
Sometimes you genuinely won't know. You genuinely won't know.
And like, you have some persons that they don't see themselves as doing anything wrong.
So don't see anything.
So when you're hurting and all of that, they're saying, okay, why is that one acting like that? You know, they don't see themselves as doing anything wrong. So it's like, that's the view that you will use to view them now, knowing that they don't know better then.
And
Yes,
that's
I
to put some condition on it, right?
Well, one of my conditions is that I will revoke my acceptance. So
Well, for me, I think an apology would do a lot of help based on my situation. And I think for others, it would too if somebody does say, hey, we're sorry. I mean, genuine or not, I mean, an apology is actually one step getting some form of closure to the
Yes,
situation.
yes.
And I mean, we're wounded and we just want someone to recognize that, hey, you did handle me bad. I mean, let's be honest. When you have a pastor leader that you trust, you're basically exposing your vulnerable parts to this individual. It's just like Timothy and Paul. The relationship they had was a unique one to the point where Paul circumcised Timothy. Now think about that. Timothy would be giving up his vulnerable part to this man, and this is how we would have treated the relationship we have with our pastors. And if this pastor have all the information they have on you, they can use it against you. You get what I'm trying to say? So I just simply need you just to say, I'm sorry. If you're genuine, to be honest, if you're genuine or not, I just want some acceptance on your part to say, because that's what an apology is. You at least are taking some form of responsibility.
Yeah.
And when these people, and let's be honest, when we talk about church, sometimes not the church generally hurt us, and about leaders. So you get what I'm trying to say? Where it's really directed to those who are leading and in charge, and they're mishandling people. And for me, I just say, hey, I was wrong. Just show some form of acceptance. Maybe it's not genuine, but
I don't know. I think for me,
yeah. I mean, shit is different for you, but I just want somebody to say, hey, I was wrong.
I know, but I
just
just
move on from there, you know?
I just think I've been, or maybe I've been hurt too many times that I'm just in a place where, like, if you give an apology, you give an apology. But if you don't, I'm gonna be all right anyway. Like, I don't feel like I need it. Like, I've gotten to a place where I'm like,
and that's
it may never come. So it's like I've conditioned myself to be like, you know what? This is going on, and you're gonna have to find a way to make this better with yourself, because this person may never come to you and be like, you know what, I was sorry. My actions led you to feel a certain way or whatever. So it's just like within me to be like, you know what, I'm gonna have to figure this out on my own. I'm gonna have to find a way to my own healing, because an apology may never come, and I'm not gonna look for it. Because, you know, like when you've been through so many things and you've been disappointed so many times, and you it's wrong, but you kind of like get to a place where you just like, okay, you just think the worst of everybody.
Just don't care.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, so it's like, I'm gonna have to make myself okay with or without this apology. So
And I think this is good because that's your experience and we have our experience. And that's the issue. That's why we have such a big responsibility as leaders to really treat people who we come in contact with genuinely. And know what's happening is you would have gone to several places and your experience wasn't good. And then no, you become callous, you're hard, and then you've been cut so many times, and then you heal, and then you cut so many times. If that's happening, this wound is going to be, the scar tissue is going to be so hard. You know, it's not going to be it's not going to be nice and pretty looking. So if you keep cutting something, the healing process over and over and over, it's not going to be nice. And I think it's a lot of prayer on your part to really help God process you, Shane. You have to do that. Because you must understand, I think I was bringing it across in church. If you can't find value in people, even though you need church and need a place, you still have to ensure that you have your identity in Christ. At the end of the day, people will come up again. Oh, if that's the reality. And I don't know what's happening in America right now with the music culture. I'm so out of touch. Back in the day, I used to listen to a few things from you guys, secular, not just gospel. But now in Jamaica, there's a lot of songs right now. One of the songs, like, that's why we don't like humans. That's the name of the song. It's like you're hurt so many times now. That's the name of the song. And I said, church, this song is hot. In Jamaica, we say it's shot, it's around the place. But let's look on the message for you. We cannot sing something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. We have given ourselves to people, and we are hurt, but we need people. We still need people at some point in time. So we have to really pray so that we can find a way how to heal properly and also help others who are hurting. So for me, an apology would help. And even if you hurt me again, still apologize. You need to admit that you're wrong. I'm sorry.
No, I feel that. I think the apology piece is huge, because I think that is the first step in acknowledging that, they did you wrong in some area, or that, whatever the situation may have been, that there was some fault on their behalf. They acknowledge it, and they're sorry for it, even if they're not sorry for it, they're saying they're sorry for it. I think that is a big thing. I understand the apologies with conditions, because for a long part of my life, I've had trust issues. I'm like, Lord, deliver me from trust issues. When it comes to people, I would say, you know, when you don't expect anything from people, they can never disappoint you. And that was the approach that I would take. So
That's
when,
true. Mhm.
yeah, you limit your expectations. So then when something would happen, you know, it was like, even if it hurt, it wouldn't hurt that bad. But it's like when you make, and as you said, you know, when you have an individual who you're vulnerable with, that takes on another kind of level to it, because it's like you're putting yourself in this position where now you can be hurt. And then it's like when you do get hurt, it's like, oh, I didn't see that one coming. So then it's like it hurts even more because it's like you're not expecting it, you know. So I think in those instances, apologies are very, very, very important. Now,
But
go.
sorry.
No,
No,
go.
I was gonna say that, like, for me, it's like I get it. And I think I'm on the side where it's like when it happens so much.
Mhm.
And not just with people in church, but it could be with
It could
people
be
on your
people
job, anywhere at all.
Anywhere.
From you know, it's like your whole life you've been experiencing people hurting you. So then it becomes like a trickle over where you're like, okay,
That's true.
I'm gonna put up
But you realize it's Bible, it's a fallen nature of man as well, because I mean the love, iniquity about the love many has walked school. So I mean it's everywhere, not just in church.
Yeah.
But the funny, I'm sorry, go ahead, because I was gonna add some good, but go ahead.
No, so what I was saying is that it's like it makes it so hard not to put condition on it, because it's like, yes, you apologize, like you've been experienced this for so many years that someone hurt you, they apologize, you're like, okay, I forgive you. Then the same person again do the same thing. Oh, I'm sorry, you forgive them. Then someone else go and do it, you forgive them. Then the same that someone do it again, you forgive, and it's just you just keep on forgiving and leaving yourself open to keep getting hurt. So the way I deal with it is that, okay, if it's from a different person, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I'm not just going to put condition on it, but it depends on who it is. If it's the same person and you say sorry before and you do something again, of course there's condition on it, because guess what? Like, you did it before and I forgive you, and now you're doing it again. So I'm not going to try to get a third time without putting some condition. I'm going to observe you now. Now I'm like observing everything you do. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely agree.
I was just over here causing trouble, to be honest.
Go ahead, Mark.
I have to try to see it from all sides. You know, someone may have that question and they'd be like, "What? The apologies with conditions? What's this?"
Yeah.
So, you know, we gotta jump into it. So outside of an apology, is there any
So,
other
I have a question.
No,
though.
you have a question?
So if what would you prefer, not to get an apology, but to see a change in behavior, and that's okay for you?
Yeah.
So
I'd rather see a change than an apology, truthfully. Because words are words sometimes. We can all say words, but I feel like your action will always speak louder than your words.
So I think for me, I do like to get the apology, but if it's from the same person who keep doing the hurt, then I need to see some action, and also it's gonna take time for me to actually get to the point where I feel like I could truly accept your apology without condition, because based on your action, based on the fact that you apologize, and based on like how you come to apologize. Because if I have to bring it out of you and be like, well, and it takes a long time, therefore, like, because you didn't see before, and it takes me a whole long time to try to get you to see what you did wrong, then I'm like, okay, why is it so hard for you to see? So when you do apologize, I'm like, are you just apologizing because you're trying to shut me up, or are you apologizing
Exactly
to see what you did? So it depends, you know, it depends on a lot of stuff. But if, like I said, if it's from the same person, now I have to see the action. You got to show me. You got to work hard. So
Now
Now
you
that
got
answer your question, Mark.
He's like, yeah.
You did. Yeah, yeah. I need to hear something from you though. I'm sorry. I still need to hear you say something. You need to say something. I think people can change and it may take time. I think when you start with an apology, at least
Yeah, it's
you
something.
are brave and brave enough to admit that you were wrong.
I think that's a big step.
Yeah,
So
and
even if you
not
know that
just-
someone's
yeah,
not being,
but for us both.
so
Um,
even
and-
if you know that someone's not being genuine, you still want to hear it.
You
yeah,
don't know that.
yeah, I no, for me, because for me, right? And let's be honest, sometimes
No, I am.
yeah, no, but when you may have done somebody wrong, and I'm sure you're like, nah, still a person, you're sorry. Because you don't feel that way. So it's not as if we are
I
in,
didn't do anything
You're
wrong.
here,
What am
you
I
know?
apologizing for?
you would have done the same thing, Shen. Be honest, no.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
kind of
I'm being honest. Of course I would be like, I'm not apologizing. But what I'm saying is, when I do apologize for something, I do mean it. There are times people have to be like, you know what, you did this, and I'm like, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe it came off that way. Maybe
That's
that's
what
not
I'm
how I
saying. That's what I'm
meant
saying.
it.
The moment when you say sorry, at least what it does now, you just kind of step back and say, probably, they're saying
But honestly,
something.
But
Something.
But how do
But
you
with
really,
me, though.
really determine
If
if a
somebody's
person
genuine
is
or not?
genuine or not? Because
Yeah.
at times persons can be genuine and say, I'm sorry and so forth, but because of their character and the way they are,
Like
then
slide.
it makes it
Fox.
very difficult for them not to adjust their behavior.
Mhm.
So I think it basically leads to the person changing their character
So
to
we need
really
both?
deal with you, because
We need
they
both?
might not both one.
An apology and the change of behavior. Or
Yes,
I
but
like that.
for me, the character is what I would like really take
so you don't need a
more.
sorry.
No, not really. I don't really
Okay.
need
Yeah, just-
sorry much.
I
I
Because
want to see different. I want to see a
because
difference
words are
going
just
forward.
words. So
I
yes,
need
you
your
might
sorry.
not know that a person is genuine, so that can be a whole different thing. But if I see we are okay, then this person is trying to change your character because it is not good, then I'll accept that even if they don't say sorry, because a change in behavior can show you that
But-
that person
but
is genuine towards you.
And then my question would be, if your behavior changes,
Mhm.
why can't you say you're sorry? You see what I'm saying? Because if
I
you're
guess a change
I
in
agree with
behavior
that.
will
I agree with that. I
a
think if
change
you're
in
really
behavior
sorry-
will prompt you to apologize.
let's go. But
But that's what I'm
is I'm
saying, like,
and you can start with the
if-
apology and then you can do some introspecting.
No.
If someone starts to change their behavior later on, they can be like, you know what? I was wrong for the way I treated you. I was wrong. Like some people like, I mean, sometimes I had to take time and evaluate my own action and then come back later and be like, I'm sorry.
So
But-
sometimes it works.
But until I get to that point, I am not saying I'm sorry. Let's be real. Unless I'm like genuine about it, I'm not telling you I'm sorry. But if I've like seen a certain way, I'm like, all right, now I need to change. If somebody else says something, I'm like, all right, maybe I really need to change. And sometimes you sit and you think, and then you're like, no, I didn't do right that time. And then you go back and I'm like, you know what? I'm really sorry. I didn't handle that situation well. I could have handled it differently.
This raises a really important question. Well, for me, anyways, is it really boils down to the individual or individuals if
Yes,
they are sorry and how they would have seen their
So
actions.
that's why we don't need you to be apologizing every minute and not meaning.
No, I'm not saying
change your
apologizing
character.
And
frequently.
some people,
I'm just
people,
saying,
when they
if something
apologize
wrong,
to you,
say you're
right?
sorry to me.
there are the
Admit that
people
you are
who say they're
guilty.
sorry to
Admit
shut you up, right?
When
I'll
you go
come
to
to you and
court,
I'll say, I'm
when you go to
sorry.
court,
That's
the judge is
true.
gonna say, how do you plead? That's necessary. That's
No,
necessary.
but you
How
know
do you plead? We can't process this case. We can't prosecute you. You can't defend yourself. We need to have
Oh, please.
No, but look at it
something
though,
on
Mark.
record.
Look at it
Are
though.
you guilty or not? How do you plead, Shanika? How do you plead?
Listen,
What's your
listen
name?
to what
Chief,
I'm saying.
sorry. How do you plead? How do you plead? Is it guilty? You're in court right now. How do you plead? I need to hear
Let me
from
explain my plea. No, but look at it. Like someone can say, I'm sorry, right? And you're like, all right, you just move on from it. And that person's not thinking about anything. They just move on and do it again. But with a change, right? You're actually like thinking, you're evaluating your actions and seeing that maybe your actions might not be right. But when you say you're sorry and you're like, all right, I love you, we're now moving on. They move on and then they do the same thing again because they haven't had that time to really like think about their actions because they said, I'm sorry. And you're like, okay, I'm good. We can kiki now. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said the actions is more important because
Yeah.
when you start to change your behavior and change the way you think, you evaluate certain things and be like, you know what? I could have handled that better. You know, I see what this person was saying, you know, and then it might bring you to an apology. And then you're like, well, this is from a real genuine place because you already seen change in this person.
Yes.
And I do feel like a lot of people say, I'm sorry, just to
Yes.
be
to
done
shut
with
you
it.
up, yes.
And for everyone to move on, but they haven't done any thinking about it. And I'm not saying everyone does it.
But I mean, I think for me, and I understand the point. I think that's a really good point. I think for me, if you're going to say I'm sorry, whether no or later, for one, it shows you would have you're thinking that you are wrong. Because let's be honest, you don't really need time always to look into yourself to admit that
No, you
are wrong.
don't.
Some things you know you're just wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
But
be honest, you just know
some
you're wrong.
persons will apologize
Mhm.
and apologize to
And
shut you up. But
This is what
I'm saying,
you're adding to my point. So I'm saying,
no, some persons will apologize and say,
Even knowing
okay,
they're wrong.
I know that this person wants an apology, so I'm just gonna give them an apology, and that's it. You're not saying, okay, I'm apologizing because I'm wrong.
And what I'm saying is that it is, you know, the individual that's apologizing or not. And
their
because
character.
so yes,
So that's why I would rather them to change your character.
So you can't, and I'm saying you would know if you're wrong or not. I mean, come on, you know if you're wrong or not. You don't need always to step back and to be looking
That's
at the action. What I did, is it hurtful? Is it affecting others? I think there's a rule. I don't remember what the name of it. Are you hurting yourself? Are you hurting others? And people involved. Look on that. What am I doing? Is it going to be harmful to me and those who surround me? Is it going to be beneficial to me and those who surround me? I mean, that's how we should usually operate, and that's Bible too. So what are you doing? If you believe that what you do or what you did is nothing wrong, and that means something is wrong with you, or maybe it was hard or callous, I don't know.
That's
Sometimes you don't need
story
to
for
deep
another day.
introspection to say that you are wrong. And sorry. So, but I do agree what you're saying. Maybe a change in behavior, and not maybe definitely a change in behavior will cause you to say you're sorry after introspection. And then, that's what I want to as well. But I think admitting that you're wrong for me is big. That's my process, anyways.
Yeah.
And I believe if you can say you're big enough to say I'm sorry, then we can work together to become better.
Good. That's true.
So, what do y'all think, viewers? You need to let us know. When does your apology need to happen? Does it need to happen before the action? Y'all are dying. I want to know what they think. What do y'all think? Does it need to happen before the change or after the change? It doesn't make a difference. Let us know.
The viewers.
Let us know. So here's the next question. We could have spent the episode on how important is the apology. That could have been an episode in itself.
Guilty.
Is there anything else that needs to happen outside of the apology? Is there any other way to reconcile the situation besides the apology? Are there other things that need to happen? I know we talked about the change in behavior. Is there anything else that you feel like would need to take place in order for a situation to be reconciled?
I'm sure sometimes people just need to talk. Because a lot of times some things are misunderstanding that leads to something or go somewhere that it was never meant to go.
Lost in translation, huh?
Yeah. And then it goes totally left. I mean, that's my left. It goes totally left, So I think a conversation sometimes is definitely important, but it needs to be a conversation where you can listen to me, I can listen to you. We might not always agree, but there needs to be some respect.
Yeah, and to add to that, it's not me justifying myself and you justifying yourself. We should just understand what person are saying and say, all right, then, I'm sorry I allowed you to feel this way, particular way, but not just justifying yourself. If I say
Listen
this is
to
how I
respond.
felt, then you're gonna try and justify every single thing that we would go nowhere at all. And that would just make situation worse because both of us will leave that conversation saying, okay, then this person like is very difficult to talk to. And just
You're
it's just
defending your
self-righteous
standpoint,
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Defending your standpoint, I'm defending mine.
It's true. And in that situation, like it will just make you just be like, you know what? That's when you'll find people just apologizing and not meaning it. Because it's like, okay, we keep going back and forth, we keep this, we keep like going over and over and going all around the you know the situation and not really facing it and nothing gets solved. So you'll find someone who say, you know what, I'm gonna be the bigger person and I'm gonna apologize. And it's not like they mean it. They just do it because they just want to stop the going around in circles, you know. And do I find myself in that situation at times? Yes. Where I'm just like, you know what, for peace sake, I'm just
sorry.
I don't mean it. For peace sake, I'm gonna apologize.
Yes, you just want a little peace of mind to say, all right, then and some persons when they hold on to their point, they're not letting go to it from it. So it's just like you're gonna say, all right, then we're going nowhere. It's just cycle. So
yeah, I feel like you have to go in with an open mind. Like that's the beautiful thing. We're all different. We all think different. We all don't think the same, you know, so you have to be open to what the other person is saying and understanding their perspective. And it's not just about your perspective. Like, well, this is how I feel. Well, no, but I'm telling you what might have caused me to say certain things or say certain things. So I want you to understand where I'm coming from, and I will also understand where you're coming from. And, you know, and that way we could probably have a successful conversation.
And I think it happened because, you know, even we're talking about church hurt, but at this point, it's even in marriages, like there's times when
there are a lot of things that get lost in translation.
So also, and honestly, also, like for me, it's like, it's really hard at times because it's like, he's American, I'm Jamaican.
I was waiting for that.
It'd be like, this is what you said,
but this is what I mean.
This is what I heard. But this is what I meant. No, but this is what I heard.
No, that's like me when I first started working, right? Every time I call someone, they'd be like, what? I'm like, oh my God, is this person mad? Like, are we gonna fight? I'm like, and one day I was like, you know, what is very rude in my culture? She's like, well, I don't mean it that way. You know, it's just the way we talk. When I say what, it's not competition.
I don't think that's universal.
No, it's not.
I was thinking that's universal.
Not like people who say what here, like it's yes.
You're like, it's like I'm saying, it's like you calling me like Sheikah, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's how they answer you. And I'm like,
you're like,
at first I was like,
but it's something that's very common in Black culture. Like he could say, you know, he's Black American. It's very common. It's like nothing. And for me, I couldn't understand it. So I'm like, when I call you, don't say what, say yes.
Like the word, the HELL word. I don't know if it's a first word for y'all.
It depends on who. It depends on how it's used.
It depends on the context.
And who's saying it.
And who's saying
it. I found it the hard way. I was going to summer school there. But you know, and in Jamaica, you're saying that it's regular, it's okay. So this person, you know, he's trying to be a bully. I'm a Jamaican. We don't accept bully, especially from Americans. I'm sorry. That's how we're programmed. So I'm saying this guy needs to leave me HELL alone. And I was sitting outside class. I'm like, why? It's okay. So I mean, I didn't know it was an issue. So
it depends on the context.
It was a big thing. And I mean, it was a part of my language, and I use it so often. So
Yeah.
You know, I
But
was
that just goes to show, like, if
very-
little
very
things
good.
like that can like get intertwined, just imagine having a conversation. That's why you always have to have an open mind and see where the other person is coming from, and like I said, a lot of times when stuff happens, and I've had a few misunderstandings myself in church, people might take things a certain way, or I might take things a certain way. So, and then it leads to something else, especially when you let stuff fester,
Yeah. And and it goes to show because I know that I don't know, people tell me that I have a way of looking
Our
at
face.
Why?
And honestly, for me,
All I mean.
it's nothing. I'm just like, people would think I don't like
She
them.
can give some
or-
looks, man. Oh man.
But I don't even know until someone tells me, and I'm like, what?
Oh, it's a family thing.
She's playing.
That's not true. This face, not this face.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah,
You know that something is wrong, just look at his face.
I'm always
It would be like,
Smiling.
But honestly though, so sometimes people will take that and just already think that there's something, you got a problem with them, or but for me, because I've told so many times by my husband,
I'd be like,
and
you
by
guys,
Shanique,
I'd be like,
and
I'd
it's
be having to
like,
give it an elbow, like, babe.
I took a picture of her. I was like, look at your face. Look at your face.
and then no, honestly, because like one day she did take a picture of me and send it to me, and I look and I'm like, oh my God.
I did that to him too.
I'm like,
But it's
I
up
look
with
like I
y'all.
want to rip your head off.
Oh.
So with something like that now, I've learned to, if I'm looking at somebody and I realize that because it happened a lot where they just keep looking and like they want to say something, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm having one of those moments. So I'll try to go over and I'll be like, I was admiring your shirt, or I say, oh, I like this, or I try to give a compliment or something, because I don't want someone to think that, because honestly, sometimes I'm staring, but I'm not even thinking about you. My mind is somewhere else.
Yes.
So, but I don't even know if we're on the question or if we're still answering.
Yeah, we was talking about
No, we are still on the question because we're talking about misunderstanding.
ways to reconcile situations. Shanice said conversation goes a long way. And we
Oh,
were talking
it
about how
does.
things can get lost in translation. You see, so we're
Yeah,
on
and
topic.
sometimes
We are still on
and
topic.
for me though, sometimes it's a matter of just coming to me, saying something before I come to you.
Mm.
Again, that's conversation, but recognizing that, maybe there was something wrong with what I said. Don't wait for me to say to you, oh, well, I didn't like that. Or because sometimes I know for me, if I do something to somebody or if I say something to them and I feel like based on how you replay it in your head and you're like, maybe what they could have taken this differently. Maybe what if this person take what I just said to them as if I'm trying to be rude or mean? And I would think about it, and then I would go and I would say, like, remember earlier I said something to you. I don't know how you take it, but hopefully you don't take it anyway. But I didn't really mean, like, I didn't mean it to come off like that. Or so I say it before the person have to come to me, because at that point I'm replaying the conversation. I'm replaying the things that I've said. So now it's like, let me go to them and don't wait for them to come to me. Or let me say something, because maybe something that I said may hurt that person and they will never come to me and say anything. So,
And then they fester on it.
exactly. So I think a lot of times that's how, I think that's how things can help.
I think dealing with situations in a timely manner makes a huge amount of difference.
Yeah.
And when I say timely, you right away is not always the best, because if you do me
No.
something wrong, I'm not going to want to talk to you. What I'm going to want to do, God would not want me to do. So it's best that you give me space and time.
And I honestly, being Jamaican, And I don't know if it's a cultural thing,
Oh,
maybe it's not,
man.
maybe it's a person thing, but when we got married,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I would say something, he'll be like, I just need space.
I'm like, you
And I'm
just
like, you
leave-
need
you
what?
just need to leave me
I didn't know
alone
nothing
right now.
about no space.
Now
I'm
is
like-
not the moment.
An American thing.
I'm
What's
like,
space?
what do you mean that you need
Hmm?
space? What?
Oh my
There's
gosh.
no space.
She wanna
We're married. There's no space.
Probably want to
mad and she wanna get
no,
it
no
going.
space. You want to NASA and go shoot off. We don't do space in Jamaica. No.
That's what I'm saying. So he would go, like, he would
People
even
do
go in the
space.
bathroom and just sit in the bathroom. And I'm sitting here like 5 minutes go by, and I'm like, you ready to talk now? He's like, I don't need space. And I'm like, okay, need 5
Yeah.
more minutes.
Just deal with this.
I need 5 more minutes. And I'm like, you ready to talk now? I will let you know when I'm ready to talk. I'm like, what?
It's funny because it's true.
Space. That's that. Jamaicans don't do space. It's best we sleep on the same bed, head and toe. That's what we do in Jamaica.
And I do-
There's not going to be
Oh my
any space. They're going to
God.
be up in my face just the same. That's how we are. You
You
know,
just don't want to talk about
doesn't
it,
matter.
but-
That's not the point. The point is there's no space.
Listen, I had to learn. I was
Oh.
like, oh, this is new.
Oh,
There's no space.
hilarious. It's funny because it's true, but you have to be able to gauge the situation. You know, don't let like weeks go by. You know, you give like a day or so, and then you swing back around to it and you deal with it. Don't be afraid to deal with the conflict or deal with the issue, because I think that there's a level of maturity that has to come with that, where it's like, all right, we got this issue, let's deal with it. And let's not, look at the elephant in the room and don't say anything. Let's actually deal with this issue so we can move on.
But in marriages, ain't no day going by. Like
No.
it's you don't let don't let the sun goes down, with your wife. Like you deal with it the same day. Like don't let it go, but if it's with
I have a question though. I have a question.
Uh-huh.
If I get angry at 12 a.m.
You have till 11:59
Oh my God.
of that day.
Then you got
Deal
like
with that.
50
Is that
seconds.
right
to
up
fix
around?
it.
What's that?
11:59 of that day to deal with that issue. You have approximately 23
Seconds.
hours and 59 minutes to deal with that issue.
These are for the people who like to stay up at night. So it's like people who don't like to stay up late at night. That's not a problem for you.
They
but-
like, once they
Oh my
come
God.
back from work, they like, all right, let's deal with this, because I'm not staying up late with you tonight.
That used to be me. Like I'll be like, he'll be like, I gotta go to work. I'm like, yeah, but we didn't talk about what happened.
Oh, I believe it,
With
Chica.
Sometimes
I believe it.
from wifey,
Huh?
hey, we need to talk. You be in the house and get a text message from my wife. Hey, we need to talk. That happened to you?
That is the most terrifying text message you get in your life.
Like, we
You
need
don't
to
know
talk.
what you need to talk about. You start going down the Rolodex of, what did I do? Did I do something? Did I miss it? Did I forget to pick something up? Like, what? Am I in trouble? Am I on a good list?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
what is
You wonder
happening?
what happened? Start forming the apology already. I'm so sorry.
Like I don't even know what I
That is a
Fake
whole nother
apology.
episode. We're gonna have to get some gentlemen. We can make that.
This is his fake apology because he don't even know what he's apologizing for, but he's already apologizing. He's not being genuine.
You gotta figure
We
out
need to
when
talk.
go.
I went to see him out and you're texting me. We need to talk. Oh, yes. I'm like, David,
See,
search
Kerry,
me, Lord.
when you text him and
Search
he
me
goes
and know
upstairs
me.
and apologize, he's not
Oh.
genuine.
You don't know what's coming at the end of that. All right, this has been amazing. This has been amazing. We left them with some gems last week.
Yeah.
Is there any other advice that you would leave with our listeners? Some who may be struggling with getting past it, some who don't even want to accept apologies because they don't think they're genuine. I don't know, anything that you would love to leave with our listeners to help them to get over this slump of the church hurt situation.
I don't know. I just think, time. I know a lot of people be like, you need to come back now, you need to do this, but sometimes you just need time. So, and sometimes you have to give yourself time, to heal from whatever is going on with you. So I would say time and take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
I'm still taking it one day at a time. I'm like I said, I'm not fully at 100% yet, you know, so
Yeah.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, I honestly think time is one, but I also think just having a open mind and communication. So if I always say if I tell you I'm sorry, because I only know me and I only know what I say, I know that I mean it. So if I'm like, I'm sorry, it's up to you to accept that. If I'm the one who did something to hurt you, it's up to you to accept it. If you don't accept it, then I can't help you. Um, and I like to talk about things, but if something hurt me that deep, I need time to think about it, because at this point, I'm like, do I want to put myself through this again? Do I want to put myself to, especially if it's like with a church member, or and it's someone who I've done the thing over and over again. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's about to be just a hi, hello, and bye kind of relationship. And it's hard to be in church and it's like that. It's really hard, because it's like you're there, and I know for me, if I'm in church and me and someone relationship is like a hi, hello, and bye, or just a wave.
Especially when you were a little close with them before.
Yeah, it's not a good thing, because you're in church, but all you can think about is, oh, so and so is right behind you, or so and so is right over there. And I don't know if maybe it only happened to me, but it's distracting. And it's like you go to church and you praise the Lord, and then the devil is always putting it in your head, like, oh, don't forget so and so is over there. Don't forget, like, it's like you're trying to focus, but it's always a distraction that comes to you. So I try, especially in church, I don't like cliques either way, but in church, I try to be somewhat okay with everybody. We don't gotta be best friends. We don't gotta be friends, but I try to be okay with you, where I can come over, I can give you a hug. Hey, what's up? How you doing? I could hold a conversation with you. Because that's just how I am. I don't like tension. I don't like problems. So for me, it's just like, let me come to church and serve my God genuinely and go home.
Okay, so I think truly forgiving people is something that will push one who has been hurting, because we still need to forgive them, because some persons just really don't know what it is that they have done. Therefore, us setting ourselves free and allowing forgiveness to work in our lives, forgiving them for what they did, then will basically cause us to push forward. Because the Bible said that we should, if we know that our brother have art against us also, then we should leave our gifts at the altar. So we don't have to wait on them to come to us and to say, oh, I know I did you this or did you that. But you can go to the person. Sometimes we're so stubborn where we feel a particular way about a particular situation, but we're not going to the person, and it's they're eating us out, and we are not going to the person. And that's why the Bible says we should leave our gifts at the altar. So knowing what I would say is just to forgive persons. And when that person said that, that this person came to me and said, all right, then I forgive you for what you did to me, it will cause them then to reflect and to say, let me really think about if it is that I was in their situation, how would I feel then? Then that will cause persons to be able to move on more. So we can't place things on persons, especially some persons who are selfish these days, and they don't see might not see the need for you feeling a certain way about a particular situation. So the onus is on us now to say, all right, then this person did something to me, I'm just gonna forgive. As the Bible says, forgive and let God work it out for me. Whether they give us an apology or not, whether they see us, because some persons will not see you, but you have to push forward and not let that like dim your light. That's basically what you have to do, forgive and move on. You said something, Mary?
Oh, it's me now?
Yes.
What's the question again?
Advice. Give the
I'm
people
just
some advice.
asking,
Derek.
much
Give the
do
people
you
some
do?
advice.
Moving on
Moving forward.
is to help
Oh,
someone
so
who
someone who's
might hear
hurting.
it,
What
yes.
can I say to move forward? I just have to go back to last week. If we have to know what we want. And we're speaking from a Christian perspective now. And I can't leave this out because ultimately you have to know what you want. And I think that's what today's message was about being connected. So for me, if it is that you want Jesus and you want to be, a Christian still, move on. If you believe that this place cannot handle you and they have handled you poorly, badly, move forward. And we said it last week, you can go to other churches, fellowship other places until you find where you're comfortable. If it's that you're a Christian now, I'm speaking about that you want, this is what you want, find somewhere else. Let's be honest, some persons are bad stewards. You have to be honest, and they are not handling you properly. Some people prostitute your gift. And you're treated bad, whatever it is that caused you to be hurt, but you're at this point. So I think you need to make a decision. Or you just in church because of your parents? Because a lot of us we grew up in church because of parents. I'm not like me, that was me. Don't sit down, don't move, and you grew up in church, you're a church boy, but now you have grown into your own. You probably fornicate, let's be honest, do something on the side. No church man never pick you up. The discernment was low that day. Discernment was very low. That's what I'm saying. No, but you're at this point. You need to decide what you're going to do. Will you be identified as a Christian? Will your identity be in Christ? Or, so you have to decide what you want, where you are, and if you want Jesus, you go after him. So no one church is like the true church. It's the ecclesia, the church is the body of Christ, which is everywhere. So my advice is, if you want God, go after him. It took us time. I was going around still to other churches, getting help, getting strength, being poured into. Also the strategy. She stayed home, that's her strategy. And yeah, you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So if you want Jesus, so Paul said, what shall separate us from the love of Christ? So you get what I'm trying to say? If you want him, you read through the list of things. No, I'm telling you, we face tribulation, we face distress, and if you look on the Greek of each of these words, it's not anything. There's nothing that's left out of it. There's something there that can make you say, "Hey, I don't want this anymore." So what is it? What is it? And it can be an excuse. I'm not playing down the hurt because I'm telling you people have been hurt. I've seen stuff. I'm telling you. But what is your decision? So ultimately, is it Jesus you want? Are you convinced and convicted enough to say, hey, Jesus is what I want? If you are, my advice is go after him. He's a father to the fatherless. We have legal right. We have access because of faith and grace to the throne. So you can seek God for yourself. Paul said, who died for you? Isn't it Jesus? Who will condemn you? Show me who. They can't condemn you. If you want him, just go after him. Find somewhere. Find people who can get good people who you are open to and vulnerable to, and who will be willing to say, hey, I'm here with you. You need people in your life at some point in time. And to be honest, let's be honest, we're gonna have this one girlfriend or this one. So far, man, this girl, but
guy friend.
Jamaicans don't want this guy either.
Brother.
You have this one brother, yeah, that you can talk to, say, hey, for me, it was my father, Just find that one person, yeah.
Oh, I get it. The fellas, we don't have boyfriends. We got the fellas.
Oh, you're just getting what I'm saying.
You got your bro.
Yeah. If a girl, it's okay to have girlfriends.
Yeah, girls can have
girlfriends.
girlfriends. Boys, we don't have boyfriends.
But the noobs, yeah. So it's a homie. Yeah, we say noobs in Jamaica or the other things. So let's find this one person we can say, hey, and you need people around that can help you and build it back. But Go after Jesus. Go after him. Find somebody. Find places that can help you build back. There are churches out there. I'm telling you,
Mhm.
there are places there, and there are people that really that is called to hurt people, hurt and broken people. So don't give up. Don't give up on God because He won't give up on you.
Yeah.
Don't give up on God, because He won't give up on you.
So you know what I want to add? I want to say something. I want to say that because I know a lot of times people look down upon this, like to deal with some of the hurt, get a good counselor to help you throughout the past hurts that you've been dealing with. Because sometimes it's not just about, okay, you know what, we're gonna go to another church, but sometimes it becomes like a thing where you just don't trust anymore. You're just like all done with people. You're like, God, I could live in this room by myself and don't deal with anybody because that's how bad the hurt's been. So if you find yourself a good therapist that can help you, someone to talk that don't know nothing about you, that you could trust them because they don't know you, they can't judge you, that is a step in healing. And I am a strong believer of talking, because if it wasn't for me talking all the time, and he could tell you, there's times I'll be up at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to talk and he's falling asleep and I'm like, wake up, I'm not done, like I'm trying to talk. But talking does something to me. It helped me along the way where I talk about what my struggles are. I talk about the things that's bothering me. And after I'm finished talking, I feel brand new.
And I feel tired.
You took your strength.
He's laughing because he's saying that we are really sisters.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm not done yet. I gotta talk.
still going.
Hey,
Gotta be supportive.
Sir Kenneth in Jamaica would say, pray for me. I pray for you, Jesus. I'm gonna pray for you, brother.
But you know what? I still talk,
It's
but
true.
I don't bother him so much because now I got a
Now she
therapist.
got someone else who's
So-
taking that load off of me. So I thank God for
I
relief.
mean, I definitely have a therapist too. You
There's
know,
nothing wrong with that.
I do.
believe that's important.
I remember at the beginning, Sheikah was like, I think you should talk to someone from church. And I was like, yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
But the person
No.
that I was
She's
telling her
like,
to talk
"Whoa."
to is not judgmental.
No, he's not. No, he's absolutely not. But she's like, I feel like you need to talk to someone in church. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I mean, but that was me, you know. I mean, if you're going through whatever you're going through and you feel like you want to talk to somebody in the church, then kudos, you know. It doesn't have, for me, I want to say it doesn't have to be someone from church. It can be someone from outside, because I didn't go the church route, but I felt like, you know, I had a good conversation with her, because the way I was feeling when I was going through my lowest, it's like, I didn't want to talk to anybody from church. As a matter of fact, I didn't want to deal with anybody from church, you know? So, and I went and I found her, Sandra, you know, and it's funny, she's not from church, but she's leading me back to church, you know? So I just feel like you just have to talk to who you're comfortable, and don't let anybody tell you it has to be someone from church. Because you never know, you know? So that's my little 2 cents.
All right, I'll just close off with this piece right here. And I think for me, if I could give any advice, I would say first and foremost, find a healthy way to heal. That is important. If it's therapy, go with the therapy. If it's, you know, you need to take some time and pray, you take your time and pray. You do what you need to do, as long as it's a healthy way. Find a healthy way to heal, and don't let people put a timetable on your healing. I can't stress that enough. People will be like, you need to be healed by now. It's like, hold up, this
I
is my
know.
thing I'm going through. You ain't go through this. Don't tell me when I'm supposed to be healed up. Find your healthy way to heal through your situation. Don't let people put a timetable on how long it takes you to heal. And most importantly, I will say this: don't let people kill your purpose. I think that is very important. you know, people may do things that cause you to not want to be in a church setting, be around people, but you still have purpose on your life. Please don't let people destroy the amazing purpose that God has for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So those would be my 3 cents that I put in the pot. I thank you all amazing people for coming out and breaking this conversation with us again. I think it was an amazing episode. We appreciate y'all, you know, joining us, and I'm sure we're gonna have different episodes with different topics, and y'all will certainly be able to come and drop some gems because y'all are some fun guests to have, you know. Remember, Death and Life are in the power of your tongue, so make sure you speak life. If you have not subscribed to any of the things that these amazing people are doing, if you're not following them on social media, make sure you go and do that. You want to see what they're getting into? Follow them on social. We'll have all their descriptions inside of the description. We love y'all. We thank y'all for joining us for another wonderful week. We pray that you have a blessed week.
And don't forget to get the book.
If
When
you ain't
Three
got the
Roads
book, you
Collide,
better go get your book.
A Memoir of God's Grace.
Go and get your
Yes.
book. 3roadscollide.com. Beautiful people, thank you for coming out all the way from Jamaica. Sunny Jamaica, all the way from
Very
Fort
nice.
Boston, which is
All the way
in
from
Denver.
Dorchester.
All the way from Dorchester, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Dorchester suburbs. Dorchester suburbs.
There's no suburbs in Dorchester. Sorry.
Ah.